Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbook in Quebec, and today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop. The design team was given a sketch this week, so in this video I'm going to show you my take on it. And that's the sketch you see on the screen. And I love this sketch, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because it's completely different than my typical scrapbooking style, which is really a great reason to turn to sketches. If ever you find yourself doing the same thing over and over again and you want to break out of your comfort zone, go find a sketch that is completely different than your style and just have some fun with it. That's what I'm going to do here today. This sketch, and many more actually, can be found on the Facebook page, Scrapbook Nerd Friends Group. So I'm going to write the name of that group in the information box below in case you're interested. So for today's project, I'm going to use Vicki Boutin's Wildflower&Honey collection. And I have a whole bunch of it on the screen right there. And I'll talk more about that as I use the products. I got all of this at the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop, and I'll put links to the shop as well as the products used in the information box below as well. Now, the first thing I did was have a good look at the sketch, and what stands out is that strip of photos across the top and that journaling box kind of in the middle right, as well as the title. Well, I'm going to use 3 photos instead of 4, and I'm going to replace the journaling box with a focal point photo. Off camera, I prepared a frame style foundation with 3 sheets of paper, and I gutted 2 of them. And now what I'm going to do is kind of play around with paper that I'll be placing on top of this. Now, that black and white print was my first option to put underneath that strip of photos. But I had this cut apart sheet nearby, and one side was this yellowy orange, which kind of went with the changing color of leaves in the photo. But the flip side really intrigued me. It's a cut apart sheet, and I end up going with it. I'm already outside of my comfort zone, so I'm really going to have fun today. So I'm just trimming this down a bit because there was a little strip there that I didn't like. And for the block underneath that strip where the focal point photo is going to go, I'm going to use that green paper, and that's simply paper that I gutted from behind the foundation page. You're also going to notice I already matted my photos, and that was with black cardstock. Again, that was part of the foundation page, the paper that I gutted. So I'm gutting all of these pieces, and as you can see, I mentioned earlier, I am using different size photos than what's on the sketch. I'm a multi-photo scrapbooker, and I typically like to use larger photos, and that's sort of why I adapted it. Anyway, back to my page. You can see I added a little piece of green paper towards the top left. I'm just sort of following the sketch. I end up trimming that down a bit later. But at this point, what I'm finding is that white is just a bit too white for me. So I decide to break out my Picket Fence Studios life-changing blender brushes. And honestly, this is the first time I've used them on a project. I'm not really much into mixed media and all of that kind of stuff. I don't even know if this qualifies for mixed media, but anyway, I'm finally going to break them out, and I'm using 2 colors of ink. I'm using Basic Gray and Tranquil Tide. Those are both Stampin' Up! Inks that are on my desk. And I find that the ink goes on really nice and smooth. This set of brushes comes with 5 brushes, I think. And I'm just using 2 of them here now, and they do blend on really nicely. Even though I'm not quite sure if I like what's happening right now, a lot of what I've done here is going to be covered up by the papers. You'll also notice I put washi tape there, and I often use washi tape to mask areas that I don't want to ink, just because it doesn't leave residue on the paper, and if you're reasonably careful, it doesn't rip the paper either. So now what I'm doing is adhering these page parts to the foundation page, and you're going to notice this. I'll talk a little bit more about this cut apart sheet because obviously I'm using it in its not intended purpose, and actually I'm kind of having fun with it. It does give kind of almost a funky, fun look. I don't know, it almost has that junk journal look or something like that, or to me it does, because I'm such a graphic clean scrapbooker. Anyway, I'm having fun with it, and it does work for me today because I just feel like doing something different today. So I'm adhering all of these pieces down, and what I will do is adhere this strip of photos at the top of the page straight to that piece of paper, but the one at the bottom, the focal point photo, I'm going to add some foam adhesive, and I'm not going to actually adhere it to the page right away. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I will be doing some embellishing, and the adhesive I'm using for the photos on the top strip, that adhesive, I can use it for a bit and move it around for a little bit of time before it becomes permanent. But this adhesive I'm using here, this foam adhesive, once I stick it to the page, it's stuck. So I don't want to adhere it right away. I'm going to just trim down this piece of green paper at the top, and it's going to be the beginning of an embellishment cluster at the top left of the page. But now what I'm going to do is play around and look for a spot for my journaling and the title. Now, the journaling spot is being taken up by my focal point photo, so what I'm going to do is tuck a journaling card right in the corner where you see me playing right now, and that is supposedly a spot for an embellishment cluster. Well, I'm going to incorporate my embellishing as well as journaling in that corner. I'm getting out that title sheet now, and I did select my title in advance. It says You and Me, and it's not very obvious, but when you see it in person, it is there, and it's kind of subtle. And again, it almost has that little bit of a junky look that I'm having fun with today. Now what I'm doing, I haven't stuck any of that down permanently yet. I'm just playing with my decoration. So I have 2 ephemera packs dumped out in that tray that belong to this collection, and I'm playing around in 3 corners, basically around that journaling box, the top left, and just to the right of that strip of photos. I tucked a tag under there, and I actually clipped it from behind. And now I have beige kind of in the top left to the right of that strip of photos. So I add a label just for a third hit of that craft beige paper underneath the photo. Now what I'm doing is adhering those large pieces of ephemera underneath the focal point photo. It's almost like how do I say it? An ephemera photo mat underneath. And as you can see, lemons have nothing to do with this project, but that part of it is hidden underneath the focal point photo. What I'm looking for there really mostly is the leaves, and I think I've succeeded with that. I let the little bit of the red flower peek out. I'm okay with that. I'm continuing around with these 3 areas, and I adhere my title, and now I'm looking through the sticker pack. So I find myself this label. Again, I'm just kind of layering up levels on that top left-hand corner, and that's what's on the sketch as well. And then I add a few more hits around. I'm playing around. I can take forever with these small details. I'm just adding a reinforcer to the tag. I want to add a little bit of black to that area on the right of that strip of photos, and I'm adding some lawn fawn twine. And what you're going to see me doing is basically just playing around with little pieces here. I end up going into an old sticker pack from Vicki Boutin from her past collection. Not right now, but in a minute you'll see me do it. I'm looking for something to put on that label in the top left-hand corner, and I end up getting an expression from an older Vicki Boutin sticker pack. And what I find with her material is, or certainly the last 2 collections, they really do coordinate well together. I mean, I have them in the same envelope, and I'll often use both of them, which is really, really fun. So I ended up with that black and craft color diagonal tape at the bottom of the journaling box, which came from a past collection, as well as that phrase sticker that's in the label on the top left. I found this black label as well, but I ended up not using it. And then what I do is I go back to this title pack, and there are little hearts there, and I just want to repeat that kind of glossy black look that's in the title, and I end up finding 2 spots to put it in. And at the end here, I think really all I do is I get out a date stamp. That one's by One Canoe 2. It's the Saturday Night collection. And I'm going to simply stamp my date in the bottom there. And off camera, all I did was do my journaling, and I also added one more sticker to the top left corner just to repeat that kind of minty green that you see in the leaves around the focal point photo. So there's my final page. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel as well as my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec. And don't forget, check out the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop. They have new stuff coming in all the time and their service is fantastic. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.